So last night when I scored the fight, right, you know, this is something that people need to understand. Just like any other thing in life, right? When things happen at the speed of life, you know what I'm saying? When you're in the moment of something, sometimes things can go by so fast. That's why I have a lot of respect for judges who judge fights. And I definitely have my issues with certain, judges that have done horrible jobs over the years. Um, it's an easy job, but it's very complex if you don't understand it. Um, so, when you're in the moment and you're watching and you're um, kind of emotionally, not necessarily wrapped up in it, but you're excited because you're stimulated. You're seeing two people in there, and it's your job to figure out of the two fighters who is doing what to whom more effectively. That's what you're trying to figure out. There are points in the fight where Lomachenko seemed like he was dominating. I thought he was gonna stop Ortiz. Then there was times when Ortiz just seemed more busier, and when he fought in a different, in a particular manner, meaning when he fought like a big man, when he exerted his size advantage, um, he had an easier time. The only thing that he didn't do is have a consistent stiff jab because, Lomachenko, he's the type of fighter, he's never going to stop. He's never going to stop coming. He's always coming in and out. He's coming at you in and out from angles. He's coming at you in and out straight up, horizontal, vertical. It doesn't matter with him. All he's trying to do is figure out the quickest way to punch you in the face. And he's not coming with light punches. It's none of this pity pat stuff that he's doing. He's trying to take your head off. So, Ortiz, during the course of the fight, especially early on during the course of the fight, I noticed that he was very busy and he would throw, sometimes a barrage of punches that when I saw them live, I didn't know in particularly if one or any of those punches. So I had to really think, I had to really focus when I knew he was going to explode with a bunch of punches. I just want to look at the back of Lomachenko's head. This is a tip. The back of Lomachenko's head. If it jerks, if you're seeing the punches are landing. But I wasn't the I wasn't in the frame of mind to get that last night. So I was thinking that a majority of those punches that Ortiz were throwing in barrages, they looked like they were landing. And then they were also in those situations where Lomachenko was catching them with his gloves. And sometimes he would catch them with his gloves and it would actually look like the punch had landed. And you could probably see that everybody was counting it as a landed punch. But if it goes against the glove, if it's not up against the face, it's not a landing punch. You understand? Those punch don't they the it's clean punches with the gloves on the body. If they're blocked, those don't count or they're not supposed to count from what I understand. And I've been, in this for a long time. So I noticed last night that was the busy, the busy is not always the best. The busy is not always effective. And like I said, as I was watching it, I kind of got caught up into that. Um, Also, I gave like the first 4 rounds to Ortiz. The first 4 rounds I gave to him last night when I scored it live. And I just was like, I was amazed. I could not believe what I was watching when I was seeing this kid because he did not look like the fighter that I just saw fight Herring. I mean, he was a little bit more disciplined. It seemed like he was more confident. He didn't wilter under the pressure of the moment. He stood up like a man and fought the killer across the ring from him for 12 rounds. So, I was wrapped up in that because I couldn't like I even said last night, I could not believe what I'm seeing here. Um, and because of the barrages, because it seemed like he was just simply throwing more punches. It just seemed like he wasn't hurting Lomachenko, but he was winning the rounds one at a time. One at a time. That's what I was seeing as I was watching the fight live. So it was close. There was a point in time where it seemed that Lomachenko was dominant. Then there was a point in time where it seemed that Ortiz was winning on points. See, there's a difference. One guy looks like and the reason is this. When Lomachenko's punches landed, you knew they landed and you knew they did something. Over the 12 rounds, you saw it in Ortiz that he was taking a bad beating. And if this was 20, 30 years ago, they had 15-round fights, I don't think Ortiz would have made it. Man, the effective punches and effective aggressiveness is what I saw. And I saw the impact of the punches that Lomachenko was landing on Ortiz throughout the course of the fight, where it didn't seem like, even though Ortiz was the bigger man, it didn't seem like his punches had all that much of an effect other than knocking the smaller guy off balance. I never saw Lomachenko look hurt at all, but there was a few times when I felt like Ortiz, with the accumulation of the pressure that Lomachenko was putting on, and the body punches were beginning to come into play, and the fact that he was taking some clean, flush punches, and then he started taking combinations. Then you started seeing him breathe a little bit heavy. I was like, this is just a matter of time. Lomo go get him. But he stood up, got a second win, and lasted the rest of the fight. The 11th round going into the 12th, I had Lomachenko ahead by 1 point, but I couldn't believe it. I thought Ortiz was ahead. That's how much I was into the fight and not understanding what was really happening in front of me. I was just completely caught off guard by this kid. So, so I'm watching it. I've got Lomachenko up by 1 point going into the 12th round. And you know what I thought in the middle of the 12th round? God damn it, Lomachenko's going to blow this round. Because it looked like he was blowing the round. When I was seeing it live, it just didn't seem like he was throwing as many punches and he was as aggressive. I scored the fight about a couple of hours later. I had everything pretty much. It was still a close fight, but it was a lot of stuff different. Like when I was telling you that I scored the first 4 rounds for Ortiz, well, when I actually sat down and scored it again, the first 4 rounds, Ortiz won the first 2, and then Lomachenko won the second 2. And then it kind of went like a nip and tuck. And then the most important thing that I had begun to see were those barrages that I was looking at live that seemed like they were landing. Most of those weren't landing. He was either missing because of how Lomachenko was darting in and darting out, getting himself in and out of punching range, or, Lomachenko was doing a masterful job at protecting with his gloves to where the punches were only going off of his gloves. Because, see, you have to understand, a guy with 396 amateur fights, what's in their brain is punches that score. And they also understand that the gloves, when the punches go off the gloves, they're not supposed to count. Those aren't supposed to count. So he is a master of putting his face and his hands just in the right amount of space. So sometimes a punch looks like it lands, but it's actually going off the glove, or he's slipping, or he's dodging. The way to tell when Lomachenko is getting hit is by the back. How his back, the back of the head jerks. That's the impact. When there's no impact, when he's not being forced back, all that's missing. Those aren't hooks landing, no uppercuts landing, no straights landing. This dude is masterful inside with defense, with his gloves and with his head movement and with his feet. You have to watch his head, not just with Lomachenko. Begin to do that from now on when you're in watching these fights that are a little bit more difficult. Watch the head movement. Your head's naturally supposed to be in one particular manner. When it jerks up like that, that is unnatural. And that is the obvious way, the most obvious way to tell about these punches and how effective they were. Because I thought there was a couple of times where I just knew for sure Ortiz was not going to make it. But this little fucker just can't. And the last point I'm going to make before I end this, it seemed like a welterweight versus a lightweight last night. And yet and still, Lomachenko got down the stretch and it seemed like he was behind. But from what I was looking at in the second fight, the first fight I did score a draw. The second fight, still close, but coming down the stretch, I had Lomachenko winning by one again. The difference is when I saw the 12th round again, and I started seeing the difference between the impact of what Lomachenko was doing and what Ortiz was doing, how his punches were landing. And I'm looking at the expression on both of them's face. One of them really wants to be there while the other one is waiting for it to end. Loma was, hey, if I can get to you, you're gone. This is what his state of mind is. He's not boxing no more. He is in complete fight mode now. There is nothing that's going to happen other than him just simply running out of time unless you fight his ass back. And I thought when I first saw the 12th round, Ortiz fought back well. When I saw it a second time and was able to distinguish the amount of punches, and not maybe, Lomachenko may have been outscored in that 12th round, but the impact and what they were doing and the ring generalship. Was this fight going in a manner of where Ortiz wanted it to go, or was it going in a manner of where Lomachenko wanted it to go? Ring generalship. That's what that was. And Lomachenko had it. It seemed like he wanted to be there. He was trying to get it over with for the sake of knocking the guy out. He wasn't just trying to, I can't wait to get to the bell. He was trying to not get to the bell. And if the bell happened to ring, oh, well, we've only got 12 rounds. The little pussy ass rules now say you can't go 15. They say you can't weigh in the day of the fight. So now you got a lightweight in there against a welterweight or even a super welterweight. And that's my rant. But that's how I looked at the fight last night. It was real good. Man, listen, if you've never scored a fight before and you're interested in it, go and check it out. I'm sure you can find the fight somewhere. Go and check it out. And just 10-point must system. Don't make it complicated. Score one round at a time and just look for clean punching, effective aggressiveness, defense, who's slipping the punches, and ring generalship. Ring generalship, who is controlling the energy of the ring. You got it? And then put your score in the comment, man. Please put your scores in the comment, because last night I did it live, 114, 114. Then I came back again after I had a couple of hours to take a break, and then I scored it again, 115 to 113 for Lomachenko. It was a good fight. I was thoroughly impressed with Ortiz. Like I can't say enough about that young man. That dude really fought his ass off, even though he was taking a beating. And I'm glad it didn't go 15, because last night would have been I think Lomachenko, if he had 3 more rounds, whatever fight for the rest of this guy's career, he was beginning to take a beating that bad. But so for it to end the way that it did, and then he stood up and he fought for himself, and he tried to win. He did the best he could. He just came up short. He went to master class last night, and he's going to be hell for everybody else.